Steve Dotto here. How the heck you doing this fine day? Me? I'm feeling a burst of energy in my productivity soul because today on Dotto Tech, we are looking at Asana. This is our second major look at Asana. It's always been one of my favorite task apps. Now, people in my space who review and look at different productivity apps have a big challenge in the task app space because, frankly, there are just so many good options out there that none of us have time to really dive in and use each one to the level to comprehend all of the nuances of each of the different task tools. Consequently, we have a good view, a good idea of the features that are in each tool, but not necessarily the application. Asana is a tool that I understand the application of. It's a tool that we've used for a long time. I have not committed to it before as deeply as we have just in the past few weeks. And I think we should just dive in and I should show you what's going on. Asana has always had tremendous integration and tremendous kind of a database capabilities. Good communication. It's free for up to 15 users with a really nice, robust feature set. And it was always list-based, and it was a good contender. What sets it apart is the addition of this view that we see right now. They've added the ability for us to put in these boards, which give us an index card, the index card ability to be able to move tasks around and reorganize them in using what they call the Kanban method, the method of organization. Now, if you have seen our demos in the past on Trello, you know how I feel about visual organization. I love it. Adding this visual organization, which is very similar to Trello, to Asana, I think is a bit of a game changer. It's come along for us at the same time as we've expanded our team a lot and also systematized a lot of how we produce these videos, which you can see actually the kind of the model of right here. So it was kind of a perfect storm with us having new needs and new capabilities coming along in Asana, and a beautiful relationship was born as a result. So I'm just going to walk you through this new part of the interface because I think this might be it's going to be totally relevant if you are looking at moving task managers or you're looking at committing to one task. And it's almost a misnomer now to call it a task manager because this is really project management that we're looking at here, at least doing it in this style. So with this view, when you have Asana set up, as I said, it's free for up to 15 users, and then you start for most of the feature set. All that we're going to show you today is in the free version, but I will mention some of the upgraded features that you can get with the premium version, which costs anywhere between $5 and $10 per month per person, depending on your team size, etc. But once you've set it up, you've got down the left-hand side here a kind of a navigation area. Now you can still get to list-based tasks. As a matter of fact, if I go and take a look at the very top menu, if I look at my tasks, which are assigned in all of these there are kind of subtasks in all of these major tasks that we see here. If I go there, you can see that I've got a full list of all of the different tasks that I work with. So if you're comfortable working in lists, you still have access to lists. But me, I really like working in this board metaphor. It harkens back to when we used to do our TV show, and each of these little tasks now becomes an index card that we can move from column to column as we work our way through our own productivity system. Now, all of these columns are user definable. You decide. There's no labeling. You decide what to call each column for each stage of your task. So let's just actually start from a new project. All of the tasks are clustered in this based on projects. So if we start with a new project, we'll see exactly what happens. When we start a new project, we can give it a name. We'll call this a test project. And you can make it a list, or you can make it a board, which is what I'm going to do right now. You can also set the privacy to have it shared with your entire team or just for you as an individual. And you can also have private groups. That's one of the premium services that they offer with the premium version. We're going to create a new project, and we are brought into this view here, which is just basically a blank canvas ready for us to go. So we can add start, and then middle, middle, and then end. There we go. So we now have 3 phases of our different project as we're working on it. And then you just start adding tasks. You click on the plus, and you get task 1 started. And once you create the task, you can create multiple tasks just by hitting return. And then by going into each of these tasks, we start to see the detail of the task. And this, once we kind of pop open the index card or the task card, we start to see the power of what Asana brings to us. Because first of all, we have the ability to assign it to any of our team members. So I'm going to assign that to myself, setting a due date. And once we set a due date for any one of the tasks, it starts to then populate this task through the whole Asana ecosystem. So it's now going to appear in the calendar, it's going to appear in my task list, that sort of thing is all happening as we start to assign these different criteria. Along the top, we've got some little quick menu items where you can like this if you need to. Tags are very powerful. We can start adding different tags which allow us to classify our tasks in different ways. So you can search on it in different ways. But you can also add color coding to the tags, which helps you to identify what's happening within as you look at the projects. You can see them, you can see it by color. So I really like how they manage the tags within it. The next one is actually, this next tool here creates a subtask. And you can create subtasks, and every time you create a subtask, it has pretty much, if we click here on the little bubble, it has pretty much the same criteria as the original task. So let's call this task getting going. And it's got the ability to do all of the same things, assigning it to somebody, setting the due date for it, etc. You can do all of that with this in these subtasks. Now the navigation doesn't have a back arrow, but instead it's got this kind of breadcrumb trail going along the top here. So now we click back to task, and that takes us back out to the main task. Once you get any part of your task completed, of course you can check it off, and it lets Asana know that you have done and completed whatever that task is. Now some of the other features of this window include the ability for us to attach different types of documents to the task. Now for somebody who's producing videos like we are, if you're in any kind of production mode, this is awesome because you can attach files from your computer, you can attach links from Dropbox or Google Drive or from Box. So you can bring different physical assets in, and as soon as you attach a file from Dropbox or anywhere else, let's just attach, let's say I changed the thumbnail picture, there we go, and I'm going to choose that, and now we've got in here, it will then, in the task, it will reference and it will have that image ready for us at all times. So anybody that needs access to that then has access to it. I don't know why they want that, but there we go, a nice thumbnail image of Steve with a black background. One of the other really nice aspects of this view of dealing with tasks this way is conversations and discussions with your team members end up being consolidated on the task. So we also use Slack for team-based communications, but you can communicate on individual projects or individual tasks that you're doing through a very robust interface here that allows you to comment and exchange a conversation. So let me just jump out of this particular project for a moment and take you into a project that I'm doing with Mike Vardy. Now Mike's of course a productivity expert, and we're working on a refresh of a course that we developed together called Slack Made Easy. And so this is kind of our plan for our launch webinar for it. But you see down here we have a conversation going, and I can just continue that conversation. And he will be notified of it in a variety of different ways. You're notified by email if you choose, and of course you're notified within Asana. So you have a nice narrative of the conversation happening here as well. So this makes it far more convenient to kind of keep the ball moving ahead on any project that you're working on, because you've got all of the assets in one place, you've got all of the different subtasks in one place, it all reflects together as a combined unit, and you have the ability to have the conversations around it all in the same place. And I mentioned the fact that with all of these the projects as well, the information kind of works its way through and ends up in different views. For example, in the list view of my own inbox and my own tasks, one of my favorite aspects of Asana is the calendar feature, where it takes all of the tasks in a project, in all of the different kind of touch points in a project, and it puts them into a calendar, so you can see a calendar view. We're actually using this as a version of an editorial calendar as we're planning out all our content for all of our videos for this channel as we move ahead. So I think I've just scratched the surface of what Asana can do. Even now, we're kind of modifying and we're learning some of the nuances of using Asana with our team, but it kind of fills, when I said at the start of today's video, that it fills me with a little bit of energy, because as we kind of have planned out a very aggressive content model for Dotto Tech, I needed a tool that I could rely on, that I could visually see exactly what's happening with all of our different assets as we're preparing them to publish them. And this tool, using Asana as a project manager as well as a task manager, is really given me confidence that we're going to meet our publishing goals. And that's saying something. When a tool gives the people working on the project the confidence that they can get that project done, I think that you can't ask more. I mentioned that Asana is free. If you visit the site at asana.com, you will find, I think it's just asana.com. Yeah, it's asana.com. If you go into the pricing model, you'll see that they have, it's free up to 15 users. All the features that I showed are free, and then you start purchasing the premium, and it starts at $833 per person per month. But small teams pay less. I think the quote that they gave me for our team of 5 or 6 people was about $450 a month per person. So it's pretty reasonably priced if you're going to be using it. You'll probably be very happy with it in the free version for a very long time. But along with the private groups, I think one of the most valuable benefits that you can get from the paid version is something called task dependencies. And that's where, when you create an item, like if I say have to record my video, that the next task in that sequence triggers at the completion of the first task. So you can create a chain of events based on a task that each triggers the next task. That way people's inbox isn't filled with tasks that they can't complete because somebody before hasn't done a task that has to happen. It's very sophisticated, but I think very, very powerful. Certainly something well worth looking at as you start to commit to using a team-based task tool like Asana. Well, I hope you found today's video to be useful. Now, I do have 2 favors to ask of you. First of all, please subscribe to this channel. And while you're at it, if you enjoyed the video, a like would be nice. Secondly, please subscribe to our newsletter. That way I can let you know about our upcoming webinars, trainings, and tutorials. Till next time, I'm Steve Dotto. Have fun storming a castle.